What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, happy Tuesday and happy us finally getting answers day. Because when good journalism happens, people actually have to talk. Okay? Quita in the morning starts now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
How is she doing? Is there any timeline for her return?
Yeah, she's doing well. She's doing well. Again, no timeline. I think it's day to day, and for us to just make sure that we're continuing to be supportive of DB in her.
Is this a satisfying quote? No, it is not. It's not. Do I wish personally, guys, that we had more details about this situation? Yes, I do. Is her absence hurting the Fever? And not just where they stand right now, but also, remember this is a team that's competing for a championship. So is it hurting their ability to become the team that they need to become? Yes, because when you have a key player, a player that you're paying a significant amount of money, when you have that player out for now going to be 5+ games, that's a lot. That's a whole lot. And here's the truth. Here is the not so great truth about this whole DeWanna Bonner situation. The truth is, right now, we don't know what in the world is going on with DeWanna Bonner. We don't. And if someone tells you that they know, they don't. They're speculating. And speculation is fine, but when you back up your speculation with a lie that she removed all the references of the Indiana Fever from her social, and you pair that with, oh, they just took down her stuff, then you don't really have a leg to stand on with your speculation, right? When you're backing it up with just lies, right? So here's the deal. We will not know what is going on with DeWanna Bonner unless DeWanna or the Indiana Fever decide to share what's going on. Or hopefully, maybe, we can get a real journalist actually investigate what's going on, right? I hope that there is some journalist with boots on the ground with contacts in the Fever organization that can actually figure out what's going on. Because I would like to know. Personally, I would love to know what is actually going on with DeWanna Bonner. Could this be a family matter? Sure, it could be. Could she be stepping, could it be something else? Sure. Yes, it very well could be that maybe she does want a way out of Indiana. The thing is, we don't know. Okay? The key word to that is really the word could. So if you're claiming you know something without confirmation, you're not reporting anything. You are just speculating. I wish Annie was still in Chicago because she probably would have wrote an article about this by now. We probably would have seen an article about what is happening with DeWanna Bonner and the Indiana Fever. We probably would have seen it by now. Basically, what I am trying to say is that I need some reporter that is actually a reporter to find out what's going on, talk to people and figure out what's going on. Because I want to know. I want to know. However, what I don't want is random lies to be spread as gospel when it's not.
A few moments later.
Obviously, there were reports today that DB doesn't intend to return to the team. Just what conversations have you had with her and with the front office about that?
Yeah, I had a lot of conversations recently. Really been focused on the group that we have right here and what we need to do to position ourselves to win.
All right. Now, that was probably confusing, but what I wanted to do was make a montage of how we got to where we got to, okay? Yeah, and also it made it more confusing that because I was making that montage today, I put June 25th, when actually that was yesterday. So it should have been June 24th morning, which is the conversation we had yesterday morning. And then the reveal that we saw with in my opinion, the greatest, definitely top 3, if not the greatest, WNBA reporter right now, Annie Costable, who gave us the scoop that we actually, I fully trust it. And I think most people fully trust it as well, because she has a fantastic track record. And now that has caused us to finally hear something more from Stephanie White. And yeah, I wanted to lead with that, just so you all actually understood what I said yesterday. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. If not, sorry, I tried. I tried to make it make sense, but yeah, that was what I was trying to do, is show the fact that before yesterday, the last time we heard from, when we previously heard from Stephanie White about the situation, she said, quote, she's doing well, about DeWanna Bonner. Actually, I think I actually might just have that graphic. Do I have that graphic? I might have that graphic. Well, anyway, this is what was said on the 21st from Stephanie White. Stephanie White said she's doing well of DeWanna. She says she's doing well. Again, no timeline. I think it's day to day, and for us to make sure that we are continuing to be supportive of DB in her time away. That was what was said on the 21st, as reported by the Indiana Fever's beat reporter. And now we hear more, right? We hear more. Chloe Peterson is the person who filmed the video that I put at the top of that montage. All right, and so I use that, and I talk through what Stephanie White said, and that clearly she was talking like she expected DeWanna Bonner to return, because day to day, so like, okay, there's some sort of return, I guess. And while that was all happening, there were absolutely reasons to speculate and think that maybe DeWanna Bonner just wants out of the Indiana Fever, which in that montage I also included that, right? We also, at the same time, was hearing stuff that was saying DeWanna Bonner removed stuff from her, removed mentions of the Fever, or removed photos of the Fever and all that stuff from her Instagram when she had one post and it was still there as of yesterday. And I was saying that was not true, because it's not. It wasn't true yesterday. It's still not true today. Also, the fact that her banner was removed. Her banner was up at the last Indiana Fever home game, which was last week. Also, we did also hear from others as why are we talking about race in the chat? What does race have to do with anything? Okay, what does that have to do with anything? All right. Yeah, anyway, let's continue on. Basically what I was trying to do was call out what just wasn't true, which was the banner thing, and it was her deleting her social media stuff. Wow. The talk about the fact that something was going on with DeWanna Bonner, that was true. True before, still true. Okay, so yeah, just wanted to lay that out real quick. And also, I wanted to talk through what is going on with DeWanna Bonner and what happens next. Okay, so let's turn to the next graphic. And again, guys, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. All right. Thank you so much for rocking with me. I make content all about women's basketball, so if that's your thing, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Okay. Next up, let's talk about the article that was the gift that keeps on giving. Yesterday, in my stream, I literally said that you saw it in the montage that I wish Annie had wrote a story about it. Like I was like, we need a reputable journalist to write something about this. What in the world is happening in Feverland? What's going on? What's going on with DeWanna Bonner? And it's just like that. Just like that. Yesterday I was talking about Annie and hopefully us hearing something from her about what in the world is going on. And just like that, she told us. Okay, Annie Costabile yesterday wrote an article that spilled the beans on what seems to be something that was trying to be hidden from people, right? The fact that DeWanna Bonner wants out at the Fever. She wants out. She wants out. She wants to be gone. And yeah, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the article that was, and again, huge shout out to Eddie Costabile. Like truly, my favorite WNBA journalist. Like literally anything she writes, I'm like, dog, I'm sure it's true. I'm sure it's true. I'm sure it's true. Like, you know, sometimes people will be like, oh, sources told me, but like, y'all, she got the best sources in the league. Clearly, she got the best sources in the W. I'm just saying. And if you're sort of newer to this stuff, just trust me when I tell you, she is a fantastic source, and I'm happy she finally wrote something about it. And now we finally know what is going on, and Stephanie White had to actually address it. Because she couldn't just say, oh, it's day to day, oh, it's personal. She actually had to address the fact that, stuff is happening. Anyway, something was clearly off in Indiana, and it looks like DeWanna Bonner is done with the Fever, so we're going to break it down. We're going to talk through the awesome article that was written, and I'm going to share my thoughts about what's going on with this team. So, we got DeWanna Bonner, fantastic player, 2-time WNBA champion, 6-time WNBA All-Star. Like, she's fantastic, right? DeWanna Bonner, number 3 in scoring for the Indiana Fever, right? Or number 3 in scoring for the WNBA, I should say, in total scoring, right? This is someone who signed with the Indiana Fever in February, I believe, right? She started a couple of games with the Indiana Fever to start the season. She was ultimately benched for Lexi Hull, a benching that made a lot of sense. Absolutely made sense. I was in complete agreement with that benching because she wasn't playing the way that she normally plays. She played in her last game on June the 10th. And then after June the 12th, it was personal reasons. DeWanna Bonner is not playing for personal reasons. We didn't know what those personal reasons were. There was a lot of thoughts about, okay, well, maybe something's going on with her family. Maybe something is happening. Maybe it's just something that we don't know. Something's going on because personal reasons, right? So she missed 5 games as of yesterday. And yesterday, turns out that reports end up surfing that DeWanna Bonner wants out, right? This is the person who was signed to the Indiana Fever who was supposed to be a veteran glue player, right? She was supposed to help lead this young team, this young squad with a young star to a championship. Stephanie White was her head coach at Connecticut When Stephanie White went over to Indiana to become the head coach, DeWanna Bonner was like, okay, I'm going to. Instead, several games in, it all fell apart. All right. Now, here are the important details that you all need to know. Okay? Here are the details. Here's the deal. Here's the current situation that the Fever have themselves in. They have DeWanna Bonner on a 1-year deal. Okay, guys? This is a 1-year deal that is worth $200,000, which is a lot of money for a player so far this year that hasn't done that much, right? DeWanna Bonner this year is not averaging that many points. Like, she's basically a low in most stats. She's at a low. Right? So $200,000 total that she's getting paid for this season. However, a thing to note is that this is a unprotected deal, which means that no guarantees. No guarantees. If the Indiana Fever want to cut ties right now, they can, and they don't owe DeWanna any cent more than what she's already gotten so far this year. No strings. So we're going to talk about the trade in a second, possible trade in a second, which I don't think is happening. But the situation that the Fever find themselves in, they have a player who has not been productive in terms of what she is capable of doing, right? In terms of what we have seen in the last several years from DeWanna Bonner. Like, she has not played like her normal self at all. She hasn't, right? Yes. So when I say year, I mean the WNBA season, because that's how the WNBA season is, right? The WNBA season is always during the summer, and so yeah. When I say year, you can translate to that being a WNBA season. But to be more specific, they have her signed for 2025 for the season for $200,000. This is an unprotected deal, which means that they can cut her and cut ties at any time before midseason. If they wait until after midseason, then that unprotected deal becomes protected. So, yeah, they got some decisions to make, and they need to make them pretty quickly as we approach All-Star break, because once we hit the midseason, yeah, it's kind of over. It is kind of over for the Indiana Fever, because they would be forced to pay out the full $200,000 to DeWanna Bonner. So they're trying to figure out a way to get out of it. Okay? So, what went wrong for DeWanna Bonner? Well, it supposedly just wasn't a good fit. Here's the deal. We all know how great of a player DeWanna Bonner is. When DeWanna Bonner signed with this team, there was a lot of fanfare of people saying, you know what, this is fantastic. DeWanna Bonner is great. She is a great player. She is a vet. She can teach some of these young players some stuff. She is someone who can make her mark in Indiana. You know, there was an expectation of, okay, maybe she starts, maybe she does not start, that type of thing. But several games in, 9 games in, we have DeWanna Bonner averaging 7.1 points a game, 3.8 rebounds a game, 1.6 assists per game. Here's the thing. Those stats are not that bad if someone's on closer to a vet minimum deal, right? Not that bad. 7 points a game, not horrible, right? Could be worse. However, you got to think about the fact that the Indiana Fever are paying her $200,000 to play. And someone who's getting paid $200,000, averaging 7 points, basically 3 rebounds, that's not good enough, right? She started the first 3 games of the season, then got benched. Her role ended up shrinking fast because she wasn't given the production on the court. Guys, DeWanna Bonner has been in the league for a long, long time. And a fun fact, these are the worst stats of her career. She's been in the WNBA since 2009. And even when she was a rookie, she averaged 11 points a game, almost 6 rebounds a game. This is the worst she's ever done. Ever done. Career low in terms of points per game. Career low in terms of rebounds per game. She is shooting horrible in comparison to herself, right? Last year, DeWanna Bonner shot 41% from the field. This year, she's shooting 34% from the field. Just the fit clearly just wasn't working. And now she is on her way out because multiple sources tell Annie Constable that DeWanna Bonner does not want to come back to the Indiana Fever. They also say she never really fit in to begin with to the Fever. So, where does this leave us now? What does DeWanna Bonner want? Well, supposedly, according to the article, which I should absolutely read, according to the article, the 2 landing spots are the Phoenix Mercury, where she spent over a decade, and the Atlanta Dream. So the Phoenix Mercury is where Alyssa Thomas plays. So, of course, it makes sense that DeWanna Bonner probably wants to go there. And the Atlanta Dream, which makes less sense to me, but maybe it's because Bree Jones plays for the Atlanta Dream, and Bree Jones is a player that DeWanna has played with a lot in Connecticut. Maybe that's why. But those are the, I guess, possible landing spots that DeWanna is interested in. She is interested in either Phoenix or Atlanta. Now, let's go over to the Fever. The Fever have 2 options, really. 2 options. The Fever has 2 options. Either you can trade her, which is not really an option, but yeah. Either you can trade her or you can waive her. Those are the 2 options. Trade her or waive her. Here's the deal. Again, I put this graphic back up because she is getting paid $200,000. $200,000. Which means a trade is not likely. And truly, in my opinion, if there is a GM that trades for DeWanna Bonner and is on the hook for the rest of that $200,000 for the rest of the season, I tell you that GM is going to be looked at as very suspect, because that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's a very high amount to pay a player in the WNBA that is only giving you 7.1 points a game, 3.8 rebounds a game. That's way too much money. So I think in terms of a GM perspective, I saw people saying like, oh, well, you could trade DeWanna Bonner for this player and this player together to make the math work. Sure, the math may work where you can find 2 players on another team that salaries together equal $200,000. You can do that, but think about production for production. It doesn't make any sense, right? For Phoenix, you'd have to trade away one of your really good pieces, or maybe even 2 of your really good pieces this season, and we all know how Phoenix is rolling. And for Atlanta, they have even less cap space than Phoenix has, and so you'd have to have quite a few players included in that deal, or a multiplayer or a multi-team deal of some sort. Teams aren't willing to get rid of really good talent on their team for someone who has not been performing that great this season. Now, just because DeWanna Bonner has not been great for the Indiana Fever this year does not mean that she's completely lost her step, but it means that there's a severe doubt on what she can do from here. Now, the more likely, I say now a lot, because I'm trying not to say here's the deal. Anyway, the more likely scenario for DeWanna Bonner and the Indiana Fever is to just waive her. Now, I know you're going to have the Fever try to figure out some sort of trade because you want something, right? You want something. If you can get something, you want to try to get it. But in my opinion, it truly makes no sense for any GM to trade for her because of the performance that we've seen so far. Now, maybe if it was the same DeWanna Bonner from last year, that same DeWanna that was giving you 15 points a game, 6 rebounds a game, or the DeWanna Bonner who was giving you 20 points a game, or 19.7 points a game. Like, if it was that DeWanna Bonner, I actually think teams would trade for her. But because of what is happening, nah. I don't see it. I don't see people trading for her. And if they do, I would be shocked. Now, could I be wrong? Absolutely. But I would be shocked if a GM actually traded for DeWanna Bonner and was on the hook for the rest of that $200,000, which at this point is not $200,000 anymore because it's, I believe the amount is like evenly split amongst the season. And so I guess they get paid in like increments. And so like whatever is left of that $200,000 left. But yeah. So if they waive her now, they will free up cap space. The Indiana Fever would free up cap space. And they can sign somebody else. They can actually sign Ari McDonald for the rest of the season and just move on with one less post player. They absolutely can do that. Or they can try to see what Eurobasket players may want to come to the U.S. after Eurobasket is over and bring them on the team and sign them. Like there's some options that the Indiana Fever have to do. Or there's some options that they have. However, the option that makes the most sense is just to waive DeWanna Bonner and to fully move on and just to write this chapter off as a learning lesson. But according to the article, again from Annie Costabile in frontofficesports.com, she says that if the Fever were to waive DeWanna Bonner, teams would have 48 hours to claim her off of waivers. If no team does, she becomes a free agent. It also says the current veteran minimum. Actually, let me just share this article because I do want to give credit to the great reporting that I was literally asking for yesterday, and it has come to pass, which I love. I love us getting the scoop on what in the world is going on in the world of women's basketball, okay? I love when we find out what is going on. All right, here we go. So here's the article. No. Here's the article, and you can see down. Let me make this bigger. You can see down here. It says the current veteran minimum in the WNBA is $78,831, which means that the Phoenix Mercury could sign DeWanna Bonner without making any roster cuts if the Indiana Fever were to waive her. And she clears the 48-hour waiver window. Now, after they waive her, if somebody picks her up within those 48 hours, they would be on the hook for paying DeWanna Bonner the rest of her salary. They'd be on the hook for paying the rest of that. But if she clears waivers, which I'm pretty sure she will, because if a team does not trade for her, it's unlikely that they're going to pick her up off of waivers. But if she lasts through waivers without getting picked up, I absolutely see the Phoenix Mercury picking her up. Like I think that's a serious possibility, and actually a pretty likely scenario. So yes, you can either trade her or waive her. Trading her, I don't think people would go for it. I really don't think people would go for it. I don't think you'll get much of anything for it. Man, this website is very buggy. I don't think you get anything for it really, because again, that's a huge salary she's getting paid, and we haven't seen the production to back it up this year. I do anticipate her getting waived, and I do anticipate her getting picked up for the Phoenix Mercury. That's what I anticipate happening this year. That's what I anticipate happening before we reach All-Star break. So those are my thoughts there. All right, those are my thoughts there. Okay, now why exactly DeWanna Bonner wants to leave the Indiana Fever? No idea. I don't know. But it's clear, according to the reporting, which I completely believe, she wants out. All right, so the takeaway is that this looks like the end of the road for DeWanna Bonner in Indiana. And for a team that made so many splashes in the offseason, right? You added DeWanna Bonner, you added Natasha Howard, you added Sydney Colson, you got Brianna Turner. Like you made a ton of changes to get older, and I think the hopes was to get wiser, and to really help this young core that is Caitlin, Aaliyah, Kelsey, really help them get to where they need to go in terms of winning a WNBA championship. And unfortunately for the Fever, this is not a good look. This is not a good look, right? The Fever wanted veterans. They wanted leadership. But clearly, the deal to bring DeWanna Bonner over to the Fever, clearly it didn't work out. Why? Well, I anticipate finding out from an article in the future from Annie as to exactly why. Why exactly did she not fit? Why? What exactly happened? It seems like she did want to start, right? And that was a thing. But even before she got put on the bench, she was not performing her normal way. Like, she was not, right? DeWanna Bonner has not played like DeWanna Bonner during this WNBA season so far, right? She has not played the way we expected her to play, right? The fit was off from the beginning, and Bonner was expected to be a starter, and she was until she lost her starting spot. Okay? All right. Okay, that's it. That's the whole thing. And yeah. Katie says she wanted to start, so she quit. It's in the article. Yeah, I literally just read that part in the article. Said, okay, and again, let me actually just let me show it on the screen. Let me show it on the screen. Okay. It says, multiple sources told Front Office Sports that the fit in Indiana was off from the beginning. Bonner, who was signed to be an anchor with championship experience for the team's young core, was expected to be a starter. The Fever declined to comment. Yeah, she expected to be a starter. And she was a starter for 3 games until she lost her starting spot because she wasn't playing like herself. She wasn't. Not really. And again, this says the fit was off from the beginning. So to me, the beginning means that it's actually before the season started. That's the beginning. And so, yes, clearly part of it might be the starter spot. But if it was off from the beginning, it can't just be that. At least that's how I'm understanding this article. Now, maybe you all have a different interpretation, but I'm reading it out for you all to decide for yourselves. Because it seems like it's more than just starting. Seems like it's more than just starting. But yeah, that's the comment about starting though. Okay. Now, guys, Dewan says Lexi outplayed her and earned her starting spot back. Can't be mad. I mean, yeah, I agree. Lexi Hole makes way more sense to start. She does. Because at first I was like, okay, well, maybe Dewana's going to get it together. Maybe this is just a small skit. Like, maybe this is just a weird moment or whatever. But even when she ended up coming off the bench, like, it just still, I was just like, man, like, it wasn't a good look. So yeah, it made sense for Lexi to get the starting spot. Quentin says Brianna Turner isn't producing either. Yes, she's not really. And I am interested to see ultimately what the Indiana Fever do because they really, again, this is a team that has a lot of championship aspirations. What do they do? I think that's a huge question mark for the rest of the season. What do they do? This is a team that is, again, has a lot of young talent. Right? They're rocking and rolling in terms of possibilities. But it hasn't turned out the way that at least I anticipated it to be. Like, now, some of you all may have anticipated the season to come off with a start like this. However, I didn't expect it. I really, and maybe I was naive, and that's okay. I'll admit that. I thought that this team would be a whole lot better. I really did. I thought they would be a whole lot better. And yes, this is a team that had a good amount of vets that came through. They had a lot of talent of young players that are already there, right? But clearly it didn't work out. Clearly it did not work out. And, it is what it is. Sometimes that stuff happens, and now all you have to do is adjust. All right? All you have to do is adjust because that's all you can do. It doesn't make any sense to continue to be upset as to what happened because it is what it is. It is what it is, and you got to move on. You got to move on and still make a good showing for the rest of the season. And do I believe that the Indiana Fever could still end up really high in the playoffs and still end up possibly end up in a championship game? Yeah. There's still time, guys. We have barely scratched the surface of the season. So there's still a lot of time for this team to, acknowledge that clearly signing DeWanna Bonner was not a good idea. Move on and get better. There's time for that. 100% there's time for that. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the games that happened yesterday. Let's move on to the games that happened yesterday. And you know what? Let's just start with the Indiana Fever, who had a game that, just so you know, clear transparency. I was at the Chicago Sky versus LA Sparks game. I was like, wait, who did they play again? I was at the LA Sparks versus Sky game, and so while I did catch up on what happened in the other games, I did not watch the full other games, and so I'm not going to talk that much about it. Yeah, I saw clips, and yeah, I saw highlights of the various other games that happened yesterday. However, yeah, full transparency. All right. If I didn't watch something, I will tell you I didn't watch it, so you all would know. Okay, but just so you know, something that happened yesterday is we saw the Indiana Fever take down the Seattle Storm in Seattle. Got to give a shout out to Indiana for that. Coming into yesterday, y'all heard me say it in the morning. I said that I thought that the Seattle Storm would win. And I tell you, and I wish I would have watched the full game, because I tell you, it would have been great to be able to tell you point by point by point all the fantastic stuff that the Indiana Fever did. From the clips I saw, Aaliyah Boston was working, absolutely working in that post, and we saw Kelsey Mitchell draining shots left and right. Here's the deal. When teams play better than I expect, I got to give them a shout out. I have to give them a shout out because, I mean, Aaliyah Boston, 31 points, career high, 31 points. Like, dog. How amazing is that? How amazing is that? Now, again, I saw highlights of her scoring and whatnot. Aaliyah Boston, the thing that I am actually enjoying about Aaliyah Boston is that there are certain games where both Aaliyah and her team realizes that she has the matchup advantage, and they take advantage of it, and they see a lot of success. Here, I'm not going to say here's the deal, but what we saw yesterday, what I saw in highlights, what you all who saw the full game saw as the full game, was that clearly no one could stop Aaliyah Boston. Nobody. She was unstoppable down low. Unstoppable. And Aaliyah Boston, she has that talent to do that, quite a bit, man. Like, she was absolutely on her big one, right? Yeah, she was on her big one yesterday. And I gotta salute and I gotta celebrate, because yeah, it was cool to see those highlights and see Aaliyah Boston just get into the rim, bucket. Okay? 72% from the field for Aaliyah Boston. Like, that's very good. It's very good, I'm just saying. And we go to Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell was balling as well. She saw that her teammate was struggling. Like, Caitlin, still struggling. Is this the end of the world? No, I don't think so. I actually think this is a blessing in disguise. Caitlin Clark has not lost her ability to shoot threes. I saw a clip of the pregame warm-up where Caitlin Clark ended up making like several threes in a row. She's going to be fine. Caitlin is going to be fine. She's just going through a rough stretch. It happens to players. It's probably one of the worst stretches we've seen from Caitlin, especially since she's been in like the spotlight. However, I'm not worried about her at all. I'm not, the thing I'm most worried about is her turnovers, but her inability to shoot, I'm not worried about. I am worried about her turnovers, but not worried about her shooting at all. Shooters go through slumps. She's in a slump. It's okay. Not the end of the world. But what I loved about yesterday is that Kelsey Mitchell was like, you know what? I got your back. Your threes aren't falling. Well, I'm gonna get my threes to fall. 5 of 7 from the three for Kelsey Mitchell. She ended up with 26 points. Ultimately, the Fever rock and roll shut them down, open up shop in Seattle as they take down the Storm 94-86. So again, shout out to them. Shout out to the Indiana Fever for making it happen. Dexter said Caitlin Clark doesn't have a mid-range. She doesn't have a mid-range, but I think she's going to develop it. I don't think she's going to go through her career without having a mid-range. I think she's going to develop one. And I tell you this, when she develops a mid-range, if you thought she was scary before, she's going to be a whole lot scarier now. once she develops that, I'm just saying. But it helps to have other stars on your team. That is why it's very important to empower everybody on your team, because sometimes the main player, the number one player, sometimes she has a bad game. Sometimes she has a bad series of games, and you gotta make sure to have her back and show up and show out. Okay. All right. Next up, let's talk about the game I was actually at, and it was the Chicago Sky versus the LA Sparks. And guys, I have to say, what a game by the Chicago Sky. In the same way that it seemed like both Aaliyah Boston and her teammates realized the advantage that she had down low, and they kept giving her the basketball, was the same way that the Chicago Sky realized that literally nobody on the LA Sparks could stop Camilla. And they gave Camilla the basketball. And Camilla showed up and showed out. 27 points for Camilla. I believe this is a career high. Definitely a season high. But I believe it's a career high for Camilla Cardoso. She was unstoppable yesterday. 27 points, 7 rebounds. She had 3 assists in there as well. So, like, hey, these post players can pass. They can absolutely pass. I thought this was an excellent game. Again, I came into this game expecting the Chicago Sky to lose. I expected them to lose. I was like, oh, well, I was telling somebody before the game, I was like, yeah, I think we're going to lose by like 10 points. And no, we didn't lose. We didn't lose, man. We actually won by 11 points. And I just got to say, shout out to this guy. Shout out to this guy. Shout out to them recognizing the advantage that Camilla had down low, getting Camilla the basketball, getting her involved early, and making some stuff happen. And guys, can I say there is something maybe about Rakia Jackson being on the opposing team that unleashes the three-point assassin known as Camilla Cardoso. Now, guys, y'all may remember several years ago, 2 years ago, I think, during the college, during the SEC tournament, it was South Carolina versus Tennessee. South Carolina needed a shot because they were losing. It was clear to just about everybody that, okay, the Tennessee Lady Vols are going to win. They're going to beat South Carolina in the SEC tournament. And on an inbound play, Don Staley told Camilla to shoot that blankety blank. South Carolina inbounded the basketball. The only player that was open was Camilla Cardoso. She gets the ball. She throws up a 3. She hits it. I believe that was the only 3 she made in college. It was huge. Right? Did it against Tennessee, where Rakia Jackson played. Right? And that was kind of funny to see. Right? That was huge. And then we saw the meme of the head coach of Tennessee. Like she was doing like something like this. Like she was crouched down and she was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this just happened. Rakia Jackson was on that team. Now Rakia Jackson's on the LA Sparks. Said the shot clock was winding down. Camilla gets the basketball in the corner. She just throws it up and she hits it. And the crowd, we went wild. If y'all want to see the crowd reaction to it, I streamed the game, so like you all can watch it on my other channel. But yeah, that was huge. That was absolutely huge, guys. Huge. And it was very, very fun to see. Also, guys, the other game that we saw yesterday, which again I can't talk too much about because I didn't watch the full game. However, the Washington Mystics I didn't grab a graphic for it, so I'm going to just take this off. The Washington Mystics ended up taking down the Minnesota Lynx. The final score of that game was 68-64. Now my goal is to watch that full game later today and figure out what exactly happened. Now, of course, we all know that the Minnesota Lynx are without Nafisa Collier. She's out with a lower back injury, and so yeah, not having a player like that is huge. But the Minnesota Lynx still had enough to win. They still had enough to win, but ultimately they did not. They lose to the Washington Mystics. And again, shout out to the Washington Mystics. I can't talk too much about it because I didn't actually watch it, but like, shout out to them. Shout out to Shakira Austin, Kiki Ira-Afin, Shug Sutton, all these players. And I'll probably watch the game later today, so I'll actually be able to be more educated on what happened, okay? We also saw the Dallas Wings take down the Atlanta Dream. I told y'all yesterday that it was a chance that they would, and they did. And then those were the games that happened yesterday. The Wings versus Dream game was 68 Wings, 55 Atlanta. And yeah, Leah Rue is fitting right in. Leah Rue is fitting right in. And so, again, shout out to them. Shout out to just teams doing stuff that we didn't expect. Now, again, I came into yesterday expecting the Lynx to beat the Mystics. I was wrong. The Mystics beat the Lynx. I was expecting the LA Sparks to beat the Chicago Sky. I was wrong. The Sky beat the LA Sparks. I was and actually for the Dream and Wings, I expected the Dream to win, but I did say that I wouldn't be surprised if the Wings won. So maybe that's a negative 0.5 for me. And then I expected the Storm to win and the Fever won. So I was wrong. I was wrong yesterday. I absolutely was wrong. Absolutely was wrong. And hey, when you're wrong, you gotta admit it. You gotta admit it. And shout out to the it's not quite underdogs, but shout out to the teams that won that at least I didn't expect to win. So shout out to y'all. Anyway, that's the stream. I think we are good to go. LL Kune says, Quita, anybody can get got. You know that I do. And yeah, anybody can get got. It don't matter who you are. It don't matter what team you are. It don't matter how good your team supposedly is. It don't matter what your team did yesterday. Your team can still lose. And yeah. Hey. There's a dream of hey, man. The Wings came out to play. And Leah Rue is making stuff happen. Caitlin says, loving Leah Rue on the Wings. Yeah, she needed to leave Seattle because she wasn't given an opportunity really to play because you had a lot of other players in front of her. Now in Dallas, especially right now because Eurobasket's happening. So you have the two centers for the Dallas Wings. You have them out. And so Leah Rue is cooking, and Leah Rue is going to wind up keeping that spot when the centers actually come back. Because this is a much better lineup to have. You also have Dejanay Carrington, who is out right now for the Wings, and so that's a thing. But yeah, they find a way to win. Enrique Gumbawale is Enrique, and stuff happens. But I will say, I saw a fantastic clip of one of the best passes I have ever seen from Enrique Gumbawale. I saw it yesterday. It was really good to see. Anyway, that's it. That's a shame. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. If y'all could make sure, absolutely, very happy for Lee. Absolutely. Anyway, also a thing to note is that Marina Mabrey is going to be out for several weeks. That is something to note. Looks like Marina Mabrey it came out yesterday that she's gonna miss between 2 to 4 weeks due to a knee injury. And so that's an update on Marina Mabrey. Sucks to see that. Like, again, I'm happy that it's not like a season-ending injury and that it's just a couple of weeks, but still, like, the Connecticut Sun, their main hopes was Tina Charles and Marina Mabrey, and now with Marina out, it's tough sledding. It is tough sledding. Thank you so much, Nay, for the super chat. Says, good morning, a confident Camilla. Actually, let me change this so we can actually see your background. Let's make this color. No. One second, guys. There we go. Thank you so much, Tanae, for the super chat. Says, good morning, a confident Camilla plus a patient Angel equals wins. Camilla called for the ball from 3. Angel didn't force shots. She slowed them down and looked for her teammates. This was Teaspoon's vision. I got to say, yes, I focused so much on Camilla when I was talking about the Sky game. I did not talk about Angel, who I thought had an excellent game. I think Nay is absolutely right. Angel didn't force stuff. She took what the defense gave her, and she was very close to getting a triple-double again yesterday. Angel Reese, 18 points, 17 rebounds, and for those who are just like, oh, she's just catching her own rebounds, I think she only did that once, I believe. Either once or twice, caught her own rebound. Other than that, 12 defensive rebounds, 17 rebounds in total, 6 assists, 4 steals, 4 steals, 18 points, and just 2 assists. 2 turnovers, I should say. That's excellent for Angel. Excellent. She shot 50% from the field. Great job. I think that's the version that we need to keep saying. Absolutely. Angel was great yesterday. She was great. Bernadine is also agreeing on the Angel front. Thank you for the super chat. Says, Angel, 18 points, 17 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, and 50% field goal percentage. Yeah, love to see it. And Mama, after the game was over, Mama couldn't go to the game with me. Mama's kind of sick right now, but hopefully she's good now. She was pretty sick a couple of days ago. But anyway, she called me after the game and she was like, what a game. And yeah, what a game. Just saying. Thank you so much, Mama Llama, for the super sticker. It is a parrot character cheerfully blowing a party horn. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much, Ali, for the super chat. Really do appreciate it. It says, thanks for the work you do. Well, thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for for you all subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you so much for just rocking with me. Even if you never do a super chat, thank you so much for supporting this channel and rocking out with me. Guys, I make content all about women's basketball, so if that is your thing, make sure to subscribe, okay? Subscribe. And yeah. Okay. Also, make sure to hit that like button for me one time. Make sure to hit that like button. But yeah, really great game. Really great game. Jamie says, Quita, you need a sticker on your screen to remind you to play your exit prop at the end of your stream. Well, your comment was my reminder to do just that. So, guys, thank you so much for rocking with me. If you could, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and tell a friend that Quita in the morning is happening every single morning. Well, technically not every single morning, Monday through Friday. Quita in the morning. And guys, that is the stream. Thank you so much. And I will see y'all very soon. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Are you ready?
Ready, set, go.